What's going on, people? Yeah, I was gonna go to sleep, but I had to get this off my mind, off my chest, whatever you want to call it. Um, and let me set this timer so I don't talk too long. So I say maybe about 20 minutes or so. For anybody that's watching, I try to respect the time. If the time is gonna work. Okay, now it's starting. Okay, so for about 20 minutes or so. Um, let's just get right into it. Mm. One of the things I hate more than anything is racism, because when you look at it, it's the easiest way to divide a country, a state, a humanity, a nation, a province, a group, a culture, a society, a continent, a world, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's a coward's way out, especially when you do it because, it's something based off of a color, you know, especially the color of your skin, I mean, especially without getting to know a person, or, you're racist against somebody because of their culture or something like that. I mean, I have an extreme problem with that. I hate racism with extreme prejudice, if that makes any sense. Because my thing is, it's like Martin Luther King said, people should be judged by the content and the character, not the color of their skin. And I'm paraphrasing that. And it's just a sad, state of affairs when you see that, especially here in America, with the Charlottesville incident, and then, how, certain people, failed to address it, or certain people stepped up and addressed it in a certain way. And I just wanted to express my thoughts on it, because I know it's something that's not going to go away. I'll denounce it myself. I hate racism. I think it's a coward's way out. I think, white supremacy, or any type of bigotry against any, ethnic group of people is a waste of time, for humanity. I get it means something to the people, who support these causes, the neo-Nazis, the white supremacists, the alt-right, or whoever, whoever they are. I mean, everybody has their issues. But for me, racism was never, a thing that I could really sink my teeth into, be it, black folks racist against other races, or other races against black folk. It's just something that always burns me up. It burns me up because it's a cheap way out. It just hurts us as a humanity, whatever your culture is, whatever your race is, whatever your background is, wherever you come from. I just think it takes away from who we are, or who we can be as a people. It just highlights the worst of us. It just makes us seem so small. It's like you're not even human at that point. And then you try to dehumanize other people, and it's just like, it's illogical, it's irrational, it's just senseless. And then the violence that comes from it, and the rhetoric that comes out of it, and the politics that are connected to it. It's just sickening, man. And then in 2017, to be thinking that, what, something like this is even a relevant conversation. I mean, we could talk about going to Mars and all kind of technology, and they got all kind of surveillance, and we got all these different sciences and different ways of actually traveling across the world and online, and folks are still racist. Oh my God! And in a like a brash, outwardly, type of way. I mean, wow. I mean, the boldness, the brazenness of it. I mean, it shows that no matter how many, technological advances and breakthroughs in science we have, that we haven't had breakthroughs to the soul, to the heart, to the core of what matters, man. I mean, regardless of your politics, regardless of how you feel about people, regardless whether it's a religious thing, or, you into, evolution, or whatever the case may be, for you to hate somebody for a color, just for where they come from. I mean, that's just insane to me. It's insane to me, because, at the end of the day, you have to literally, it's like, turn your mind off to all logic, to all sensibility, just to say I hate you because of this color. It's like I see somebody, they the color blue. Now I hate you because you're the color blue. You're not the same color as me. You know, I'm brown skin or black or whatever you want to call it, but you're blue, so now I hate you because you're blue. Or that next one is gray, and the next one is yellow. You know, or you calling people monkeys and all kind of other type of animals and inhuman type things. And my thing is like, it doesn't help us, man. It's never gonna benefit us. But some people just can't be reasoned with. Some people just can't be talked to. Some people just can't be, counseled on the situation, or just, you try to pray for folks, and that's probably not even going to work in itself. And it sounds like I'm just ranting, but this is not just a rant. This is to say, you know what? There's going to be racism out there. There's going to be people that hate. There's going to be people that are bigots. There's going to be people that do, all kind of vicious things, for logical reasons in the name of racism. Some people will put it behind patriotism, which, I think is un-American to do anyway, or whatever country you belong to. It's not very patriotic to be American, and then, or it's not very patriotic to be racist in any country, but some people do that. And my thing is, I say I hate racism because it misses the point, but for some people, that is the point, to embrace hatred, towards all people, just because, of their differences. But what makes us different is what makes us special. It's what makes us, worth it as a society. Melanie says, I hate racism too. We got to sit down and talk about this together. Yeah, we definitely can. I'm just expressing my thoughts about it now because, you see it popping up in the news and people are outraged and stuff like that. And more people need to get together. Don't wait for government. Don't wait for a group of people or a particular, call or cause to action to come together and show in a peaceable way that, folks don't have to be racist. You don't have to let that hate overcome whatever it is that's, bogging down society or humanity as a whole. Of course, there's people that are going to embrace that because that emboldens them and gives them power. And for you, I say, you know what? Screw all that. There are folks out there who are positive. There are folks out there who are loving. There are folks out there who are caring. There are people out there who have different politics but still love each other, for the content of the character, for the fact that we're human beings. And I think when we forget that we're human beings first, like I said, again, we just do ourselves a disservice. That's why I just hate racism so much, if I was going to hate anything. Because at the same time, I miss out on learning what your culture is, be it you Spanish, be it you Caucasian, be it you Asian, be it you Native American, be it you Russian, wherever you come from, whatever your nationality or race or whatever it is, whatever your background, whatever continent you come from. I do myself a disservice when I look at you and I judge you based off of your background, based off of your skin color, based off of your education, based off of whatever superficial thing that's made up, by society or mankind or passed down to you from the ages or from slavery or whatever type of bigotry, with people having to be, told that they're not even, human beings, so what are we going to go back to that? People are not even acknowledged as whole human beings anymore. Do you want slavery to come back? Do you want it to be a situation where now there's, white bathrooms and black bathrooms and Asian bathrooms or, whatever the case is? No. I mean, as a humanity, we should be civilized. We should be sophisticated enough to move beyond race. But some people hold on to that and they keep, bringing it to the forefront. I know it's not everybody. I know it's not all white folks or, not all, other, nationalities that feel this way, about, racism and whatnot in a negative light. But it's just sad that, certain people have that voice. So I guess this is my attempt now to speak up and say, hey, you know what? Melanie says it's not all, but it is still too common. Yeah, racism is still too common. It's still too many voices that are speaking very loudly and giving too much attention, which is why we need to talk about it. Well, as far as me, I'm going to talk about it. This is not my last conversation about race, especially, being a black man in America. I'm willing to talk with anybody about race and just different things that we need to understand, need to go. Because I'll say to this is why this video is being done, not just so I can rant in the middle of the night. It's to say that there are people who care, from the other side. Buck Store says amen. I mean, I care about all people, I mean, there's the whole thing with Black Lives Matter. I know all other lives matter too. And my thing is, we need to understand that as human beings, we all matter. See, we should matter to ourselves and to each other. Because reality is that a lot of people are more mixed race now than ever before. You go on Ancestry.com, the funny thing is you have people that have issues with certain groups of minorities, and then they go on Ancestry.com or something, and they'll find out that this same people that they're hating against is probably in their bloodline. But then, they kind of turn their mind off to that and just kind of block it out like it never happened. And my thing is this: when it comes to racism, when it comes to how, I guess people have a point of view or whatever about how they feel about different races of people, to pass it on to the children is the biggest disservice of all time, I believe. Because now you teach other generations of children to hate, and you don't even give them a chance to decide for themselves. So you teach them that hate is the way, that racism and bigotry is a part of society. I mean, what part of American, justice or, equality is that? Where's that in the Constitution where it's okay to be racist and hate people because of the color of their skin? I mean, last time I checked, Lincoln said in the writings of the documents of, like the founding of the country, that all men are created equal. And, at what point did we not, become equal, or we were not equal? I mean, just because you had slavery, just because you did things to try to demean each other, doesn't mean that that's the truth. If I'm making any sense. My thing is, yeah, we've done things to each other, and there's been racism and there's been slavery. But my belief is that even the whole time when there was slavery, it doesn't mean that the slave masters or the slave owners was any better. If anything, it forced people and encouraged people more to try to fight more for the freedom, to try to fight more to be acknowledged as human beings. So with all that black folks have done, or any race have done, Buck Thor said, but we are, but some people don't see it that way, unfortunately. I mean, we are all created equal. I know, at least in the eyes of God. I mean, how other folks feel about that, human beings, that's your problem. I mean, I know that there's no white person out there that's better than me, and there's no white person out there that I'm better than. Melanie says, yes, nothing can take away each of our dignity as human beings, make it up, go up or down. It's sad to never see it that way. I mean, because at the end of the day, we all breathe the same type of air. We eat food, we bleed blood, we go through the same issues with climate change. We go through a lot of the same issues with, income and, issues and, just life stuff that we deal with. None of these things are immune to mankind, male, female, otherwise. But it's just like we forget what it's like to be human beings sometimes, when we're treating each other certain ways, and we lose that empathy for another person based off, certain particular things about their background, the color of their skin, where they come from, how they speak, what I'm saying, what their educational background is. And it's sad, because the same people will turn around and you'll act like you're upright and you're just, and then you're in the right because you get the approval of the president or whoever you think is the figure of the day that's supposed to approve you. And that's a whole other conversation all in itself. But for me, I think we lose again as a humanity when we fail to see each other as human beings, man. That doesn't go away. I mean, anybody that's racist against me, anybody that looks like me for the color of my skin, listen, I'll tell you the truth. I'll look into the camera and tell you, we're not going anywhere. Black folks are not leaving America. We're not leaving society. We can't disappear off the map. If anybody's paying attention, there's a whole continent. There's a couple of continents where there's, nothing but people that look like me. That may even sound like me a little bit in some ways, may speak a little different language, but black, brown folks, we ain't going nowhere. Just like, Caucasian folks, they ain't going nowhere. So, you can hate folks all you want. We still live on the same planet. You can try to kill up as many people as you want, which I don't agree with, but folks are still going to be here. We still got to deal with each other. We still got to live on this planet. We still got children to raise and generations with issues that are 10 times bigger than, the color of our skin, man. Really? You got issues of climate change. You got water shortages and food and all kind of other issues, with, sicknesses and stuff like that. People trying to cure cancer and things like that. And folks trying to, deal with, weaning themselves off of processed food or whatever the case, whatever issues people dealing with, political issues, real stuff going on, man. Like racism, like for real. That's what we doing in 2017. We pumping that and pushing that any chance that we get. Like I'm saying, so on the other side. I say for humanity, we got to do better. Maybe we're not sitting down enough at the table and really seeing eye to eye with each other. And let me not be naive about the situation. I won't be naive. There's some people, no matter how kumbaya you get, no matter how understanding you are, there's some people that you just can't reason with. I don't know if anybody's seen The Dark Knight. He's talking about the Joker. The butler Alfred was talking about the Joker, and he said, some people just can't be reasoned with, can't be talked to. They just like to see the world burn. And that's how I see a lot of, like hardcore, hardliner racists. And Buck Thor says definitely the planet is dying and people care about the color of the skin. Anna Murray says, I hate racism, it's horrible and nothing nice. Melanie says it's amazing how it's 2017 and people are so vocal and proud of being racist. Yes, that's sad. To me, that's very sad. You have college-educated people, very intelligent people who are okay with being racist. And the sad part is, some of them, many of them, a lot of them are in public office. And I know this is a history behind this, but it's just like, still, with all the history that we've been through in this country, you still find it cool and in the thing to do to be racist? So I guess ignorance is a trait that you pass on just as well. Some people just don't care. And this stuff is being seen, and it's being seen for the other generations. I go back to the Tupac quote. People said there's no hope for the youth, and he said the truth is no hope for the future. So it's like, where's the hope for the future, man? Where's the hope for humanity, man? Where's the the love, man? The love in society that's missing. The love for one another. Celebrating our differences, regardless if we, gay or straight or white or black or religious or whatever. Buck Thor says it's scary, man. They're in our schools, working law enforcement. Melanie says we are the hope for the future. Yeah, we are the hope for the future. But I say we have to fight for the future, because just on the other side, folks are fighting, for a dystopian future as well. And it's like Buck was saying, it's just so many, folks that think this way, in different levels of society and law enforcement and schools and stuff like that. And my thing, as I speak to those racists out there, is that if that's how you feel, I still say give folks a chance to make their own decisions. Give these kids a chance to make their own decisions about who they want to be. But that won't happen. That's why it's up to folks like you out there who are sensible to spread love, to spread understanding, to spread peace, to really connect with people. And Melanie says, I think as soon as these racist generations die off, things will get better as the future and all positive things change. Well, here's the thing I learned about that statement you made, Melanie. People pass on ignorance just as easily as they could pass on understanding and love and caring. You can pass on hate just like you pass on love through the generations. And there's people now out there passing on hatred and bigotry and racism to future generations. That's why these problems don't go away. That's why I said in other live streams, if you don't have these difficult conversations and deal with these things now, they become bigger problems later. That's why in 2017 you have this. Melanie says, very true, which is why if we address these things and talk about things, we can stop the cycle. Yeah, you can stop and break the cycle, but it takes all of us. It's not just one country or a few group over here or a few folks over there. It takes everybody. And as the bell rings, I'm nearing the end of this 20 minutes. I'm a little bit over the 20 minutes. And I just, like I said, I just had to say, because I hate racism, man. I hate what it's about. I hate what it stands for. I hate the byproducts of it, how it affects the children, how it affects society as a humanity. It's embarrassing to see, you know, how folks carry on. And, you know, hopefully I'm making any sense. Hopefully I reach somebody out there, you know, inspire them to say, you know what, look, I hate it too. And, you know, we have to have more love out there. But, yeah, Buckstore says, yeah, man, people got to talk about these topics and stop pushing it to the side. And that's why things are at a boiling point right now. Yeah, things are at a boiling point right now because people feel like these issues are something that they don't have to be involved in as long as them and your family is safe. And that'll happen for a while. I can sit off to the side and say, you know what, me and my family is safe, we're good as long as nobody bothers me, and you can do the same. But then what happens when it comes into your society? What happens when your neighborhood becomes a Charlottesville, you know, or a Ferguson, you know, or some, you know, other state that's, you know, facing these same issues or whatever the case may be? What happens when it comes to your town? What happens when it, you know, rocks your society or your culture? Will it be the time to address it then? It may be too late. So like Melanie was saying, you have these conversations now to try to break the cycle and to try to come up with solutions and ideas of different things that you can do, you know, in your community, you know, however they may transpire, to try to combat the bigotry, the hatred, the racism that exists still in 2017, which to me is unfathomable, but it shouldn't be, because these things get passed on through the generations. People get taught how to do these things. There's somebody out there right now in the world, right now, maybe not watching this or maybe watching this, that's being taught how to be racist, that's being taught how to hate, that's being taught how to dehumanize people because of the color of their skin, that's being taught how to disregard the content of their character, that are being taught how not to just, you know, love folks and care and be concerned. And that's sad, you know, but this is the world we live in. And I don't want to just say that's what it is. David says, taught how to hate 100%. And I say, you know, to folks in this world, man, you know, we have a responsibility to the youth, to the future, to the generations coming after us. You know, like I said, you don't have to go out there and protest. You don't have to go out there and try to fight the racism down, but you can start in your own home with what you teach your children, with what you teach the people that you're around, with what you influence in the behavior that you model. It matters. It matters. You know, the things you say, the stuff you have in your heart, it matters. I mean, nobody should underestimate the impact that they have on anybody's life, you know, be it negative or positive. Because I guarantee you this, if you choose not to teach love, if you choose not to be, you know, somebody who's the opposite of the bigot, there's a bigot out there and a racist out there who has no problem teaching their people how to be racist and hate you. And on that note, I gotta go. Take care. Thank you for listening. Hold on, I had to say one last thing. I see my man Dave said, yes, sir, I have a biracial kids. I hear what you're saying. My kids, too. Yeah, it all matters. It all matters. Take care.